Welcome to Q&A, Questions Need Answers. I'm your host, James Munch II. Most people know me as Munch. And on this show, we talk about community culture and politics. And, our goal, our mission is to create a space for honest conversation, critical thinking, and community dialogue. And today I have Satin Fye, right?
Yes.
Running for House District 109, okay? And so I hope that, we get to learn a little bit more about you, who you are, how you grew up, where you been, and why you running, Okay. So let's start with, telling the people, well, I'll say this. The other day, I found out that we got something in common. She a CAC, y'all, a culture arts center kid. God damn it. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm gonna explore. You know how like the Haitians, they try to make sure, like when you say you're Haitian, they try to speak the language to see if you really can speak Creole. Yeah, we're gonna try to see if you really a culture arts center kid today. But other than that, nothing to fret. So yeah, just I guess let's start off by telling people who you are, and how you came up. What was it like for you growing up in Miami and your experience? Yeah, let's start there, I guess.
So I'm a native. I'm born right here in Dade County. I wasn't born in Jackson like everyone else. I was born at Mount Sinai, but mother's from DC, father's from Brooklyn. When we settled, when I came home from the hospital, we were in Opelika for a little bit. Then we moved over to 88th and 6th. Then we were displaced from 88th and 6th. We moved over to North Miami. That was where my mother bought her other house, and I grew up in North Miami. And I had some challenges growing up as a kid in North Miami. So my mother was like, well, I think, some of this pent up kind of frustration that you have in school and this talkativeness that you have, you need to go to a performing arts school. So we started looking at all the magnet schools in Dade County, and we stumbled upon Charles R. Drew. So I went to Charles R. Drew. After school, my mother was like, you need to do something after school. We found a Culture Arts Center. So went to the Culture Arts Center, and from there, being a theater kid, I went on to the Miami Northwestern Senior High School class of 2004, where initially I was in the PAVAC program. Mm-hmm. So I was under Miss Seward. And of course, we had some differences, kind of rebelled. And
you wouldn't be a theater kid if you didn't.
Yes, definitely challenged her a bit. And she was like, I'm gonna send you back to your home school. I was like, I ain't going back to my home school. So my mother went down to the school board, and they was like, well, she's been settled. She's been in Liberty City all these years. She has roots. She can go ahead and stay here. So from there, I exited PAVAC, no hard feelings, and I stayed there, and I got a lot of great foundational tools as a Black woman. From the teachers there, Dr. Steve Gallen was our principal at the time as well, and there was a lot of enriching history in education that was happening. Yeah. And creativity. During that time, my class, we got to participate in like Take It to the House and mm-hmm. a ton of different things. And it was magic at that time going to school in the city. So,
Yeah, the brand new Northwestern.
Yes, in the new building.
In the new building.
Well, the new building was open 4 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it was built in what, 2000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was great. It set the foundation in terms of cultural awareness.
Failure is not an option.
It's not an option. So I was glad to have had that experience. So that being said, what I realized in going to Northwestern, but also growing up in North Miami, is that opportunity is not equal, especially for our folks.
Yeah.
My mom, she worked for the U.S. Department of HUD, so we were introduced to there was a lot of different conversations that we were having in terms of upward mm-hmm. mobility. Mm-hmm. Her being from D.C., us visiting D.C. every single year for the summer and seeing how their Black communities were empowered by Marion Barry, and what that legacy left in that Black community versus some of the disparities that the 1980s riots had in Liberty City. Yeah. It just seemed like there was no opportunity in our communities or any sort of investment happening in our communities.
Yeah, definitely wasn't.
So kind of seeing that compared to other black cities that we're experiencing
Some of the same things, yeah.
some of the same things, the divestment of funds and things like that, that was very prevalent growing up and understanding. It gave me a lot of compassion for the folks in this community and that later would become my friends and comrades. My dad's from Brooklyn. He's a tenant rights activist. So he's always about dismantling systems, challenging, systems that cause harm and displacement, especially to folks of color. That was the first wave of gentrification that I saw that was happening, was in his neighborhood. And we're talking about 20 years ago. So I never thought I would see it happen right here in our own.
Yeah.
Because nobody ever wanted to come here.
Yeah.
The way that they would speak about our communities, it was always an afterthought.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of like an homage, like what my upbringing was like. It was always a conversation about helping and serving our folks.
Yeah.
Specifically black folks.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think, and I'm going to ask you this question, but do you think theater played a role in you being more aware and empathetic to those needs? Because I knew Miss Stewart. I wasn't, how you say this? I wasn't around the program a lot, but I was around her a lot, because, being at the center, you had that proximity to her or whatever. And I think a lot of my deeper being more empathetic and understanding the issues is because of our understanding of the arts. So would you credit like yours to that too?
I would, because we're close. A lot of times, like, we're closest to the problem, and oftentimes we're never like, through theater we come up with solutions because you act it out on what you're imagining your community, like the possibilities in it, right? But oftentimes, like, outsiders, they never come to our community and ask us, like, what do you think would be a good solution to fix some of these problems that you're experiencing or whatever. So I would say theater, like, really helped me to have a lot of empathy and compassion, but it also helped me to study different types of folks in our community, that we're not a monolith.
Yeah.
Which oftentimes we're treated like it's just one type.
And
it's like, it's not. Like, there's the learned, there's the city girl, there's the trap boy, but there's also the brilliant. I believe we all brilliant, but let's just say for a black, there's the intergalactical, there's the preachy, there's the Erykah Badu's of, like, there's just not just one archetype that they continue to put on us.
Yeah. Moving into, why did you decide to run for office, and why now?
I decided to run. First of all, I'm a 20-year flight attendant. In that time, I have gained a lot of union experience, and I'm an advocator. I advocate for my coworkers. Like, right now, we have one that's in ICE detention, which I told them that would happen if we didn't put proper policy in place or protections or education around what could possibly happen. So in getting into labor and advocating for people that are often, like, our work group, they feel very disconnected from leadership. So in being a shop steward, you're kind of the connector to that. So I amplify a lot of their issues. I even present policy, imaginative, or even progressive policy to our board, because we have such a conservative leaning board that leaked into, like, my personal life. I advocate for my son. My son is on a spectrum. I'm always in the principal's office. I'm an active member in the PTA. I even once was a vice president of my child's PTA. That's how involved I believe in making changes that you don't like. You need to actively get involved to change it. So educating around it, that's also a big part of my life. My children are still school age. Then being a homeowner. First of all, let me back up. I lived in low-income housing. Low-income housing is different because it's based on your AMI. When I fit into that criteria, a lot of folks didn't realize those apartments came with down payment assistance for your home. So I was able to benefit from living in a low-income tax credited house or apartment and purchase my first house. So when I purchased my first home, there were certain benefits to understanding on how to deal with the bank, how to deal with contractors, how to ask your city for different things that you needed for your home, like windows or weatherization improvements or things like that. In that, it taught me the inner workings of like how the system works, or how the system doesn't inform people in our communities that these programs are accessible to us because we pay into them.
They do my theory is they put forth their best effort to do the absolute least to make us aware of these things.
Absolutely. And unless you have connections to these people, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I was told by an elected official one time, well, we sent you a notice. Ma'am, I'm 35 years old. I barely checked the mailbox. Like, I got all these student loans, like, you think I'm going out to the mailbox to ask or look for this so-called program that you put in the mail, but you can send me an email when my bill is due.
With 30 other ads.
Right, but you can't send me an email that this program is available to homeowners or certain tax credits that we need to apply for. We can apply for through your office. Like, I felt like there was a lack of information being disseminated.
Yeah.
And I would like to change that. I would like to first of all, we don't want folks talking at us. We want folks to build relationship with us. Right now, community seems to be a buzzword. We want people to bring the information. If you have all these wonderful programs, we literally want you to come to us and say, hey, I see you're here. Did you know that this exists? Would you be interested in applying? Folks don't realize the more you spend in your budget, the more your community gets. Mm-hmm. If you don't spend that money, some of it goes back to where it came from. Yeah. So in knowing all the programming that's out here and the fact that we are not told that certain funds are available to us to save our homes, to beautify our neighborhoods, to weatherize our homes.
Pay for electric bill if you fall short.
Eviction, there's all these programs. Why don't folks know that this exists, especially in these communities? So I wanted to run because I felt like our community is often the least, and we're lost. Mm-hmm. If we biblically want to talk about that. Mm-hmm. The folks that they're supposed to be serving, sometimes I feel like.
Yeah, it don't mix. And so talk about, because you say you've been advocating, talk about your advocacy in Tallahassee, because I think some people may be concerned. A lot of things when they hear new names, it's like, well, what have they done, to run, and why? I've even heard some folks coming to me and say, I think she's good, but she probably should have ran for something more local than the state. So why did you choose the state over the local?
So I chose the state. I honestly chose the state because, first of all, wages. We have a wage problem here. Mm-hmm. We've always had a wage problem. I've been commuting back and forth to Maryland for the past 15 years. Because what we pay here, it's not competitive with other major metropolitan cities. And our weight and the cost of living is steady going up. So they've already put in, through the Live Local Act, they've already put in preemptions that's going to keep city governments from being able to even propose rent control, right? Mm-hmm. So at this point, we need to put in some legislation for a living wage, not $15 an hour. $15 an hour is literally $2,400 a month. How much is an apartment here?
$2,400 a month.
So if people are working every day, 40 hours a week, mm-hmm. and their parents, you're cutting free lunch. We all found that out this morning in the front of, you're cutting free lunch, you're raising electricity bills, you're raising car insurance.
Yeah.
Who the hell can afford to live here?
Making it easy for the insurance folks for the mortgage insurance and flood insurance. And we pay more for flood insurance in the area that don't flood than the area that do flood. And them motherfuckers over there are some scammers, okay?
They are.
Because the second it rain, got damage.
Listen,
knocking out a window.
I lived in West Little River. My first house was 795 square feet. Small 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, right on 88th and 18th. I, for the life of me, could not figure out why.
I know where you was at.
Right there. I don't understand that whole area.
Because you was right around the corner from me. You didn't even know it.
Never seen you.
86 and 18th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how close it was.
Very close.
Yeah.
I feel like I've always circled you all, though.
You probably have.
First Little Haiti.
Yeah.
Now over here in West Little River, and now I'm in the city. Listen, they made me. They said either you get flood insurance or we'll force place it on your house.
Yeah.
I was like,
in an area that don't flood. Over there, it does not flood.
My neighbor who been in that God rest her dead, Miss Gwen, my neighbor told me, she said, I asked her, I said, by chance, do you have to have flood insurance on your home? She was like, well, my home's been paid off. But she said, we've never had flooding over here. She was like, now the one thing I will say is we were supposed to get sewer lines. She said, we've never gotten that. And we all know the debauchery around the sewer issue that we're having here, in that area specifically. They got money. They never was still on septic.
Yeah.
So that's one infrastructure issue. But other than that, we never had any flooding. When that whole flooding of 2023 happened, we didn't experience any of that.
Any of it.
Plenty of, like, you had Gladeville, then you had Pinewood all over there. They were flooded, not us.
Not us.
We still were able to get out of our homes and get down 95th and get to 95.
Yeah.
So for me, that is a state issue. The issues that we're experiencing that no one, because they're not closest to the problem, they're not speaking of a possible solution because we're not thought of. Like, I've lived in Little Haiti. I lived in West Little River. I live in Liberty City. So to understand, some of the problems that we're having, and go to Tallahassee. I've been in Tallahassee a few times. The heat bill for workers. Did you know that corporations don't have to give you a water break here? They don't have to give you a shade break. They don't have to do any of that. And for me, it's just like, that's inhumane. That's inhumane policy that these legislatures up here don't understand why it's important, just like for humanity, to give somebody a water break that's working out in the sun, that's working at our airports, loading bags. Like, that's like, it's legal now for them to not give you a break.
Yeah.
So that was passed. So I understand people's concerns, but I definitely understand I understand the problems, even around our teachers not being able, like now with unions, they won't be able to, from public unions, they don't have to pull, what's it called? Union dues. You don't have to pull union dues out of their checks anymore. Now you have to actually go to the members and ask them for their banking information.
Yeah.
So what if somebody, changes their bank account and now they get in trouble and they need union reps to go and represent them and they don't realize that they're behind? I mean, well, hopefully the union office is catching that, but still, like, things like that can cause.
And it puts a burden on both them as the employee and the union itself, because now the union has to expense
going after and calling and reaching out to members. So all of that type of stuff that's happening in Tallahassee that folks aren't being communicated to about, like some of these harmful bills that are coming down the pipeline. I mean, I understand that. I understand the concern, but we also need to address that legislatures only make $26,000 a year, and they do it. Too. It's a year-round job, but you're only in Tallahassee for 3 months, unless you need to come back and approve a budget that maybe didn't get passed towards the end of the session. So I get everyone's concern, but I'm a real person looking to create and collaborate real policies for those that are actually dealing, that are working everyday folks. So, that's why I feel I would be a great legislature.
How do you plan on working across the aisle in this supermajority?
Like I was explaining to you last week, creating relationships are important. I definitely want to, I need to know who I'm working with. I want to know my coworkers. However, I'm going to say this, we need to organize in their communities. We need to go, we need to talk to their constituents. And we need to tell them like, hey, your legislature, he voted against your own interests, which also impacts our communities too. We're connected in that kind of way. So in that, I think that is something that we all need to be considering. We got and you don't have to go far. You don't have to go to the Panhandle. You don't have to go to North Florida. We have
you just go to Miami Shores.
Not just,
you can go to Wynwood. You can go to
Hialeah. We have a ton of work that we can do locally here to organize these sort of red districts that need education around it.
So
that's a strategy that we need to be tapping into. Folks love to spend money on, send me a donation. Forget all of that. Like, people need to be sending out texts to their constituents. You have access to Van. Go ahead and send them, hey, we're going to have a town hall. Come out here. Let's conversate about a few things. Lay out the bills. Hey, there's some pretty harmful legislation. I know that I know you're a loyalist, but this could potentially impact your community too. We need to be organizing across the aisle, not just with them. Forget them. And then you put somebody up in their community to run.
What are some, it's my understanding that we have, each legislator has about 7 bills that they can
six to seven, depending on the House Speaker.
Yeah, that they can put forth. Given, what you've heard from the community and what you have in mind already, what are some of those things that you're looking to sponsor, I guess, during that first term?
So, some bills are already in place that need amending. Folks are really, the appetite for a living wage being presented on the House floor is what they would like to see. So they can be able to afford to stay in their communities and not be displaced. Obviously, we're dealing with the cringy, unhoused bill that has preemptions that pretty much is forcing the police departments to criminalize unhoused folks, which is ridiculous. That needs to be repealed, because we need to be creating more housing for our unhoused population, and we should be addressing that, right? So the second bill would be for, funding for shelters. Yes, we need shelters. The 2 that they have here.
And they don't need to be in Overtown.
No.
Because they
That's where they love to why are they all there?
Yeah, they all there. And I had a conversation with another politician about that and how it was all strategic, and that drew the property value down because they all would be in that area. They're waiting for a bed. Yeah. So that's just like, you go pick up an unhoused person from Homestead. Why don't we have a shelter in Homestead? Yeah.
Why are you bringing them to the city of Miami? And then the county's jail is in the city of Miami.
Then they have an ordinance about
if
they're in the neighborhood, the city is liable for them being there for X amount of days.
Yeah,
and they just basically ship them around like, hey, if you go on this side of the street, you're in unincorporated Miami-Dade, and we ain't gonna worry about you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just crazy. So like, okay.
But they really can't even arrest them if they don't offer them if they don't have a bed available.
Yeah.
So if the beds are full, what are we doing with our folks, and are we actually asking them, like, what type of social services program? Like, we need funding. We got plenty of folks that are social workers, that are licensed, that we can put to work here.
Yeah, and just because I work with that population a lot, and I've been in coordination with the officers and these,
the heat team,
the heat team trust, the homeless trust. We've been in these conversations, and truth be told, the Heat team, I know the head of the Heat team. He was like, nah, we ain't trying to. We really don't want to lock people up. That ain't what we about.
I spoke to Commander Williams about that.
Yeah.
He came to our homeowners association meeting, and that was the first. He said we're not here to lock our vulnerable communities up.
Yeah.
He was like, we really need to come up with some other solutions. But he basically said to our community, because that was a concern of ours, is like criminalizing folks for being unhoused should be inhumane.
Yeah.
So whoever came up with that, but we already know there's a ton of anti-blackness coming out of that legislature. So we need to figure out, how do we fix that, right? Mm-hmm. You need to put housing, you need to put, first, we should probably tier it, because mm-hmm. we have families that are displaced mm-hmm. because they can't afford to be somewhere. So we have all these vacant apartments. The Live Local Act, they're gonna be putting up a bunch of places. There's no language that really talks about what true affordable housing looks like.
And not to cut you off, but the homeless trust, apparently there's less money coming down the pipeline, which means there's less rooms available. Like, they went from being about 15, maybe 20 rooms to being 3 to 5 rooms available a day.
Oh man, is it because of the funding?
And
well, to take care of a unhoused person is $37.50 a day or something.
So one part is the funding, but the other part is, I think there's a bottleneck somewhere between the state and the local governments. Because if HUD got this money, and you know what I'm saying, and the money's flowing down that pipeline, you know what I'm saying, and then they held a lot up. You feel me? And I think that's what's happening. And it's been going on even before he got in office. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I feel the problem is. It's like there's the flow of money, and I think the strategy they've been attacking it from is backwards.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So, what else? I don't want to. I'll sit here and talk about homeless people all day, because I shelter folk. I deal with that population. Like, that's my people. You know what I mean? So
so what my mother did in the U.S. Department of HUD was she facilitated and oversaw the funding that went to the different advocacy groups, mm-hmm. to the NGOs. So I understand, like, that not only was that a concern of hers, but just to see folks and hear the stories, to be connected to folks that are being actively displaced. And they don't want to leave here. Why? This has been their home forever. Like,
yeah.
There's a solution, but of course it's always political, and I'm tired of that. Like, we need to prioritize people over politics. Yeah. And I know that's been something, but it's like, do you really believe it?
Yeah.
Like, do you really, if you have some sort of empathy and compassion for this vulnerable population and understanding, once again, I take it back to, we need to pay people what they're worth.
Yeah. We
have enough talent. We have enough degreed folks to be able to
And that's the affordability issue.
Yes.
Is the wages. And I remember sitting at the table for the Miami World Center. And I remember sitting there saying, y'all finna move these people out to somewhere else, bring more people in, and even if y'all kept these people here, they can't afford to be here because they don't have the income to stay here, right? So it's like you said, it's a wage issue more than it is supply and demand keep trying to put it off to.
Listen, I talked about this. A lot of these buildings I'm driving past, they're not even 100% occupied.
They're
empty.
Like 30, 40%.
So here it is, we're giving you tax breaks, or we're allowing you to now write off 60% of the building that's empty that you're now going to write off on your taxes as a loss.
Yeah.
Because you're a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a wash. You're not paying as much taxes as you or me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. And it's predatory.
Yeah.
So now you're stealing from the you're stealing from the government.
Yeah.
You ain't paying your fair share.
Yeah.
Then data centers. The governor has expressed that he wants to bring more data centers to Florida, as if we already don't have enough infrastructure issues here in Florida.
The water supply, the aquifers all messed up.
So now you're getting ready to put more strain on it. We can't stop automation. Yeah. It's gonna happen. We can't stop AI, any of that. However, Go put them in space somewhere. There has to be an ethical way of doing this without causing further harm to the folks that are living, occupying in these communities.
Well, you know they don't respect science. So I would, the logical answer would be, let's see because I think China has a situation where they got it in the ocean, the bottom of the ocean. You know what I'm saying?
Space, the ocean concept is something new to me, but I've heard the space concept. You're sending everything and everyone else there. Why don't you go ahead and send those there? Send those data centers to space. Because at the end of the day, now water that was already, subjected to when we have, let's say, hurricanes and other things and impurities are now going to be subjected to more, strain.
Yeah.
Then not to mention the light bills are already high. So now you're getting ready to pass on that cost to us as a consumer.
And in the state of Florida, I think the reason why is because in the state of Florida, you know what FPNL is. It's a bunch of energy lobbyists got together and created FPNL.
In a place that gets the most sun.
Yeah. And
still trying to figure that out. We got windmills. Y'all are out here selling your power to other states that's dark half of the year, but us who has sunlight and is closest to the equator, don't get me.
Yeah, and I think what's happening, I think that's the play is like FPNL and AI, they lobbying the state to be like, yo, we can make this, we go up on an energy bill every year anyways, and we gonna justify it. And it's like, nah, bro.
It's been gas.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because of the cost of gas, and now they're closing the Strader Hughes, and we're going to go up some more. It's like, nah, like.
Y'all going up.
Right.
Take a cut. Take a pay cut.
Right. Because y'all are out here getting all of the bonuses. Mm-hmm. We can't even get a 25-cent raise. We got damn grocery stores closing in our communities.
Yeah. The Winn-Dixie.
Yeah,
it's gonna be an Aldi.
It's gonna be an Aldi, and
people don't. I've already, and I stay in that area. So people don't even want the Aldi.
I don't.
They don't like the Aldi.
I don't. My son will be losing his job with 80 other folks. 80 folks are gonna be losing their job, and there are 2 Winn-Dixies in 109.
Oh yeah, because you're talking about the one on 111. Yeah.
So 160 people are losing their jobs. Aldi is automated. They have 2 cashiers, and they're all full-time positions, which everybody can't work full-time. Mm-hmm. So now you have the youth that typically would have a job, have somewhere to go after school, keep them out of trouble. Now they out. Now folks that have been in that Winn-Dixie, I've met someone that's been there since 1984. Like, come on. So first of all, the environmental racism that our communities are experiencing at this time is at an all-time high, and the legislature is reflected.
Yeah,
like you can see the correlation in it, because it's literally trying to overwork us, underpay us, and kill us all in the same time. So once again, and I want to add one more thing about the data centers. They're causing mental health issues because of the buzzing. So you put that close to someone's house, like the one that's going to be over here in West Little River, the Iron Mountain one, that only has 17 jobs, and them 17 jobs are accounted for people that don't even live in our community that could be qualified to work at those. Not that I'm advocating for that, but they're not even hiring the folks that's from the neighborhood that they're getting ready to cause issues to.
Mm-hmm. And that's a great point you make, because we go back to science. I do know a little bit of things about, I am an audio engineer by trade. So, I understand that those frequencies, will affect you over time. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like how you have what it is, white noise, and you put it in a newborn's room and they don't cry as much. It's the same thing.
Yes.
And you don't hear that hum. These are frequencies you can't even hear.
So to connect the questions together, you asked, how am I going to work in a majority Republican legislature? And then how will I connect that to their communities and their constituents? Mm-hmm. Their constituents are the ones that sounded the alarm on the AI data centers. There are whole documentaries that literally have documented and have scientific facts around these data centers and the harms they're causing to communities. That's how we can connect. We all have an issue. And the issues are these billionaires who are literally driving us out of our communities and extracting wealth.
That's a good way. That's a good way to put the issues, because we had this conversation about like the same thing happens over there. It's just, and you're right, they the ones did sound it off, but you rarely hear us having a conversation amongst these different communities. You know what I'm saying?
We have to. I mean, listen, we all got cousins that live in Belglade and other communities. I mean, we all have the same issues. And the thing is, we have to stop being afraid of one another. Like right now we have a humanitarian issue. And I said this, we are literally in a recession if folks don't want to believe it.
We've been in a recession.
The feds ain't, we're raising rates. It's a good time for, no, it's not. No, it's not. People are being displaced from not only their homes, their jobs.
Yeah.
And we're not, I feel like right now our policymakers are not meeting the moment to scale the wall. People should be literally, you should be at your government places of meeting, your school boards, hyper-local, the federal house, wherever you go. If you're taking a vacation, you can afford to get down to D.C. and lobby against that.
I think the population that's taking the vacations is small in comparison to the populations that they just simply ain't got the time. You get what I'm saying? Like
2 and 3 jobs, right?
2 and 3 jobs, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's compounded issues. Like, I think about a single mother with 2 kids. 1 kid. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to do your best to give them everything that they need, right? Or two adults that had a child, or 2 or 3 that don't even have nothing past a high school diploma. You get what I'm saying? And it's not like I'm not getting on them because of whatever, but if you go on Bureau of Labor Statistics, if you got this form of education, you ain't making past this. It's just data and statistics. That ain't me trying to pick on nobody, but it's just a reality. Now, there are some anomalies in there, but I don't think that's the thing. And when I look at, our alumni associations, I look at different groups, I'm like, okay, well, the people who actually participating at these events, they got good jobs, good trade, you know what I'm saying, over the years. You got people, and they save up throughout the year to do that, or they're empty nester, and they can do that now, right? Whereas you got other people, I'm just thinking about my own class. We coming on the 20th year anniversary. I'm looking at some people who just like, I can't do it. I can't afford it. Like, I got 3 kids, 4 kids, and y'all want me to come from out of town? Ain't happening.
But that was probably, that's also another reason why I decided to run, because I'm probably the 1% that was able to stay in Miami in spite of.
Yeah.
You asked where I've been at. I've always been an activist. In any space I'm in, I've always been a leader. But I can't be out here on the front lines, walking down 95, advocating for a child that's gunned down when I don't even know how I'm gonna pay my light bill. And I now need to go over here and fuss at this principal that's withholding funds or resources for my son who's autistic. You're right. I don't always have the time. Not to mention, I'm commuting back and forth from Maryland to Miami just to be able to afford to live here.
Yeah.
But thank God for blessings, right? Because I'm able to look to the left and right. I don't see nobody looking like me and you owning these houses. And that's because of the lack of people they're not paying these folks what they deserve to be paid.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. Even the good jobs.
Yeah. It don't pay.
No.
Like, and then it trickles down, right? Because you have issues like my mother, she works for the Florida Department of Revenue. They can't hire people for these government jobs because they're not paying enough.
The state's the worst. My mother has always said that. The state of Florida, first of all, they only pay once a month.
Yeah.
and they don't pay well.
Yeah, at all.
But you want me to come in and have a 6-point degree with $200,000 worth of student loan debt?
Yeah.
That's what our class is dealing with.
Yeah, yeah.
You told us all to go out here and go get these 3 and 4 degrees.
We
and
got
now,
it.
Now we got DTI, debt to ratio income, and don't qualify for the house in the infield lot.
Yeah.
That's $500,000. It's not, the math literally is not mathing here in Miami.
Nope.
Look at all the businesses that's closing. Now it's becoming an issue on Miami Beach.
Yeah. But y'all did that when y'all got rid of us. And y'all put in them stupid ass ordinances and curfews. The allure of the beach was that it was open until 6 in the morning. That was the allure of the beach. You get what I'm saying? And then the other thing with the beach was that like the rent is super high, and then Durham with the permits.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. They just be shooting themselves in the foot.
So that's also something that I mentioned at the forum last week for economic rallying. We need to have some leniency on fining folks for being late. Like if you submit your assessment.
It says the annual fee.
If your annual report, if you submit it late, like, come on, why should you pay a $400 late fee? That's ridiculous. You barely making it. You can barely afford to pay the one employee that you do have. So I would like to put forth some legislation that will give folks at least a twice a year waiver. Every quarter, you're supposed to submit it. So at least twice a year. I know that is revenue for the state, but...
You're talking about every quarter for the taxes?
Yes.
The sales tax?
Yes.
Not the annual fee on the...
The annual report.
The annual report fee?
Yes, the annual report fee.
You want the annual report fee, not the sales tax?
No.
Okay.
So, no, the actual annual report, if you submit that late, it's a $400 fee.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to put forth legislation that will waive it if you are late. You shouldn't be receiving a $400 late fee for that. You can barely afford to keep your lights and your doors open. So that's one as well. And then the next is camera lights. Legislation around camera lights. These camera lights are causing issues specifically in our communities.
Yeah.
Folks are losing their license.
Why are they only in our communities, especially the speed cameras?
Yes.
Like I grew up, I went to college in Arizona, and in Arizona they had the speed cameras on the expressway. Yeah. Come around a curve and you doing 60. Flash. Yeah. So you had to know where they were to slow down, or like everybody be going slow and you wonder why everybody's slowing up. It's because the speed cameras. And so when I look at I've been out of college 10 years, 15 years now. So you feel what I'm saying? And that was 15 years ago that Arizona had these speed cameras. So now you're looking at in our schools, I don't really see them as much in other affluent areas.
They're not.
That I see them in our area. Like,
my son goes to school on Miami Beach. There are no cameras in their neighborhoods. But in ours, right here on 62nd,
yeah,
there's one.
Yeah.
I can remember actually getting...
On 62nd and 18th.
Yes.
And then there's another one on 46 between Kelsey Farr, I believe that's the school. Between 22nd Avenue and 17th.
Yes.
There's another one.
So...
And then we have one over there by Central on 95th. And
see,
then
I didn't even know they put one there.
They got one over there by Central on 95th and 17th, between 17th and 103rd. Then they got another one on 103rd over there by Miami Park. On 103rd
and 22nd Avenue.
And 22nd Avenue going north to like what that is, 10 by not going all the way to Henry Reeves, but like in that area.
111th.
Yeah, so as soon as you coming off that little bridge,
okay,
the camera right there. So you gonna be speeding and get caught. I'm saying it because I done got caught at every last one of these. Yeah, and I don't really. I'm not gonna say I'm not a speeder because I got caught. But
how much are these tickets ranging from? Right.
They're like $250 average minimum. $250. Traffic school. That's all I'm doing. Traffic school.
And who lives in these areas?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
So I don't believe that the way we're being criminalized in these different kind of ways, it's definitely a form of
Yeah. They
putting
really,
down on us.
They putting down on us for real.
So, some legislation needs to be put forth. I'm like, can someone do something? Like, I've watched it because I lived in North Miami, right off of the infamous camera that was one of the first.
Biscayne Park?
Right in Biscayne Park. And it's not there anymore because their residents kept getting caught up in North Miami. Now, that was the one thing that was good.
But the police still would get you.
They
that strip, you talking about on that strip. Once
you're talking about between Miami Shores and Biscayne Park.
Yeah.
Okay, not there.
No, I'm talking about Biscayne Park in North Miami. Like, okay.
By the police station?
Is it Greg Mason Funeral Home?
Yes.
So
that's
that
Miami
as soon
Shores.
as you
right after you pass Miami Country Day.
Country Day, you get off Country Day and you go on that bridge. It's a light right there. And if you go in that little strip on 6th Ave, if you go and you go a mile over when it's 25,
whoop whoop.
Yeah.
All for it.
Trust me, it didn't happen to me.
I think we've all gotten a ticket if we have to go down 6th Avenue.
Yeah.
We've all gotten a ticket. Not there though, but the one that's on 135th and 6th.
Oh, it is another camera there. Okay.
So that one has caused a lot of issues for folks. And I mean, we have our Haitian brothers and sisters that's over there, right? So in that community, who you think getting targeted? Can they afford? Can our folks in that community, can they afford to pay that $250 light ticket? I've gotten 2. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to see the residents advocate around getting that camera taken down, and they did take it down.
We've been having such a colorful conversation.
We have. It's been a lot of different places.
Yeah.
But as you can tell, I'm fight for the people.
Yeah.
I am for the people. There needs to be some people-led legislation.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah.
Because they're leading for their own interests. What about our interests? Mm-hmm. We pay for them to be in those seats, which I want to add. The reason why a lot of those legislatures are there because they're low-key lobbyists, high-key. And they lobbying for the wrong damn people, and it's not us.
Yeah.
So, I'm there to move some shit.
All right. So I'm going to give you got to look in this camera. I'm going to give you the opportunity to state your claim, give your elevator pitch, however you want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Or why people should vote for you on August 18th.
You should vote for me August 18th because not only do I understand your problems, I'm living with you during this critical time, but also I have a solution. And the solution is for us to collaborate and to create policy together. I would love to earn your vote and your support. Fight for the people. I'm here to represent our communities.
That's good. That was to the point. You know what I'm saying? So if you haven't already, I want y'all to follow, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Q&A, Questions Need Answers. Follow us on social media. Join Q&A on Instagram, Questions Need Answers on Facebook. And you can join us on the website, alllikemines.com/Q&A. Peace out.